Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another Ripple XRP video. Before we get started, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And I have a bunch of information to get into today. Hopefully it won't be too dragged out, but this is very, very important. And I'm probably going to do two parts to this video, so be sure to tune in later tonight as well. So without further ado, let's get into this. So first things first, shared by Yoshitaka Kitao, CEO of SBI Holdings, owns, I believe, a 10% stake in Ripple, and that is SBI that holds that. The private company. They hold a 10% stake in the private company Ripple. Along with that, he is a board member of Ripple and highly influential in the financial space, not only for Japan, but also in, R3 and everything in between. So really quick, so again, this article just about Bank of America cites Ripple technology and patent application for payment system. I know this is news from, a few days ago, but I do want to go over this briefly before we get into the really interesting stuff. So the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office's patent application, immediate differential settlement with a distributed ledger system, published in June of this year, describes a communication tool between banks using distributed ledger technology. Banks that use the system will be able to immediately settle the difference in the transaction. Note that this application, which describes Bank of America's system configuration, includes Ripple distributed ledger technology, Ripple settlement mechanism, and an illustration. On the other hand, the virtual currency XRP is not mentioned. So remember, guys, XRP is not mentioned yet. They are still looking at Ripple settlement mechanism. They are taking patents out. It is pretty interesting. If you saw Brad Garlinghouse on the news recently, I believe that was CNBC, they asked him about this patent that Bank of America was taking out, and he smiled and just said he can't really say anything. Again, guys, Ripple, the private company, has some of the biggest connections with the largest banks in the world, along with central banks. And if you saw the video I did yesterday about XRP being the secret sauce of Ripple, remember, Ripple plus XRP equals Ripple's success. So it'll be an instrumental part of Ripple's success in the XRP ecosystem. And it truly is. You can use Xcurrent, you can use XVIA, but again, these are just software products to get banks on board to utilize XRapid or Xcurrent 4.0 so we can truly source liquidity on demand. So, Bank of America is the bank that owns the most blockchain patents in the US, but has not been put to practical use yet. At this stage, the application is pending approval. So again, guys, this could be just in case, and they're exploring their options, but I wanted to show you that because this is still progress. Most recently, Ripple senior engineers have announced plans to introduce blockchain-based Xcurrent to all banks in India, and that's already well known. And again, it's pretty interesting that India is actually looking to ban cryptocurrencies, yet they are so widely interested in utilizing XRP. Perhaps because they look at it as a digital asset and not just some, rogue cryptocurrency that's trying to replace the banks, whereas they're working with XRP to work with the system to help improve the inefficiencies that we see today. Next, Michael iPinky7. It is iPinky77. Great YouTube channel, guys. Very, very underrated. Very smart guy. He's extremely bullish on XRP. Programmer for 20 plus years. I've been saying that in a few videos of mine. But again, he has the Shane Ellis Q&A PDF, and they're usually on Google Drive, and he puts a lot of links in his description. And we all know that Shane Ellis is that supposable insider that predicts that XRP's price will stay very low, and then within 24-hour periods or, within a few days, it will skyrocket. Thanks to utility, because they need a high price to transfer this high value. And a lot of people think this is BS, but if you look at how order books work, nobody's really been able to prove this theory wrong. And again, Shane Ellis is a man that works somewhere in the UK government, and he has made some very accurate predictions, but he has been nowhere to be seen since then. So highly recommend you check this out. There's a bunch of videos on this, so I'm just going to skim through this. But again, look at all this information. These are actual quotes and writing that he has said. This was viral last year, so please check this out. There's question and answers to each specific question. And just talking about how the order books work and why it's incredibly, likely that this will happen. So there's two options for the XRP ecosystem. It's either going to be slow and steady growth, like Galgatron, as predicted, the famous blogger, along with, very common in the XRP community on Twitter, or it'll be the Shane Ellis theory, where it just launches when everything is set in place, and you can use that flip the switch phrase. All right, so very interesting. And again, right here, no one knows who he is. It's just guesswork. He knew about the multi-hop capabilities that Xcurrent, and Ripple were implementing weeks before it was announced. Weeks, like way before it was announced, guys. And I remember this. I remember reading all about it, and I was like, that's interesting. And I didn't fully comprehend all of it, but then multi-hop was announced, and David Schwartz was ecstatic. So, and he does work for the UK government. So again, Shane Ellis could be an alias. Regardless, very, very interesting. This is not just some vague Riddler. These are actual predictions that have come to pass, and an extensive PDF that I urge you guys to check out. All right, so again, you can check him out. I'm sure if you just type in Shane Ellis Q&A or something on YouTube, or just go to Michael iPinky7 and go to his YouTube channel, you'll be able to read more about that. Next, XRP researcher at XRP Center. Breaking SBI Holdings Inc. first quarter 2019 financial results. Year ended March 31st, of course, in Japan, 2020. So SBI VC Trade Pro goes live tomorrow. MoneyTap considering Ripple investment. And 3, MoneyTap will provide international transfer services. So let's check this out really quick. And I've gone over this before, so I'm actually going to go over these little pictures here. So thoughts on upcoming new service and business developments. So we see the launch date. Again, it's always pushed back. Come on now. But July 31st, 2019 scheduled. Order book service for crypto assets, service in which users can make transactions with ask bid volume information. And of course, we see the currency pairs. Of course, the 3 currencies or virtual currencies that will be chosen to be paired with the Japanese yen are XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. So very cool to see that. And as we go on to move away from the SBI VC trade, we can see MoneyTap's influence in all of this. All right, so MoneyTap, accelerating commercial services. Now, we all know that Japan wants to be one of the first cashless societies, and perhaps, it's going to be using these digital currencies, and it's becoming more likely by the day. So completed the transition of MoneyTap's IP-related functions to the new company, MoneyTap Co., and to the full-fledged business development phase. And so you can see, different timelines here. And of course, at a stage where the acceptance of investments from domestic financial institutions has been completed, MoneyTap will now consider accepting an investment from U.S. Ripple in order to strengthen technical cooperation and the promotion of initiatives related to international remittances. And MoneyTap is huge. I know there's tons and tons of articles circulating from last year as well with tons of information. And again, 25 capital participating banks, 8 API platforms, connected companies, and with US Ripple. And again, look, Ripple's at the heart of this. The role of the new company, and sorry if the font is small, I'm trying to read this. So marketing of new services, full efforts on support for technology applications. We see MoneyTap's use case here, especially as like the mobile app and how efficient it'll be for real-time settlement. So very, very cool, guys. I urge you guys to go check out MoneyTap because this is another use case for, everyday people to use for all their banks. So look, person-to-person money transfers. And I know we're used to perhaps, your kids use Venmo, which is an application to pay each other back. Maybe they use the Cash App. Maybe they use PayPal. And sure, we see the money in our account. We're like, all right, cool, we got paid. But again, that is the payment layer. There's a whole hierarchy of this. And we are talking about the settlements layer on the back end, not just mere credits and debits that are reflecting and we don't know the difference. So the settlement layer is what matters. And this is what's going to help, free up these idle accounts, help with the liquidity issues that we see today. And again, some more MoneyTap. So MoneyTap is responsible for the provision of a platform and marketing and will support each participating bank's expanded utilization. And it is my prediction, and a lot of others, that as we see Japan trying to move towards a cashless society, they're already working on settlement exclusively. They want to go cashless. XRP is the best bet, especially since SBI Group is spearheading this, and they own a large percentage of Ripple. They also own a large amount of XRP. And Yoshitaka Kitao is a king of networking and strategy. And so I know Crypto Eri probably covers this extensively. I do watch a lot of her content, so please keep up to date with her and definitely subscribe. All right, so we got the financial results. Next up, so ROS 2000 NI. So it might be Rose actually. So ROS 2000 NI, and she shared this with us. I've seen this circulating back in the day. XRP Darren did post this, but I want to kind of go over this again because it is interesting. So we have the Rothschild Fund, all right? And again, statements as of March 31st, 2018. Please don't be upset that this is a little old. I want to show you the next page. We've gone over this. So we got a portfolio review. As you can see right down here, SBI Holdings, 2022, the Japanese yen, underlying equity rallied over 60% plus during the period as the company was caught up in the optimism surrounding cryptocurrencies. SBI owns an 8.7% stake in Ripple's XRP. Okay, so it's not 10%, but maybe it's gone up more. With volatility in the underlying equity rising and the company's 2017 converted, CBs also richened strongly. So guys, this is very fascinating that SBI Holdings is already considered in these financial statements. And it does make you question, does it have attention from the bigger guys? I know Rothschilds are heavily involved with the central banks. Of course, we already have a bunch of other proof, but I just, wanted to show this as a little fun, speculation thing, just to imagine. Next up, and this is really cool as well. So King Solomon at XRP_owl. So let's check this out really quick. So this is actually, it's chess, but this is actually on the website for ASX. And for those of you that don't know, ASX is the Australian Securities Exchange, and this is Australia's primary securities exchange. And they are huge. And I know revenue doesn't necessarily matter, but the revenue is over $1 billion, Australian dollars as well. And there's tons of settlement going on. So as we can see here, we have chess, and there's different forms of settlement, but even ASX settlement operates 2 securities settlement facilities, and they are working day in and day out. So the development of chess has been, going on well over 25 years, and they basically want to work on, effective settlement of cash equity. So they want to improve, of course, general efficiency. So you're going to be seeing, distributed ledger technology utilized, even if it's not to move value, but they're settling and they're trade processing. So you best believe that they're going to be looking at some form to transfer value using a digital asset. And so let's continue to speculate here. So we go right on the connectivity portion, the Ledger API. And now we got the digital asset, including requesting the software developers kit. All right, so very interesting that we're going to see digital assets in this space. I always enjoy Solomon's hunting. Let me see if he attached anything else to this. And then as we go here, under the digital asset announces the DAML partner integrations with Hyperledger Fabric, R3's Corda, Intent XRP, and Amazon Aurora. So again, guys, they are, building smart contracts as well. It's not just going to be, complete settlement. However, the smart contracts are going to play a huge role in settlement and even allow people to build dApps, decentralized applications on these platforms. And a lot of, cryptocurrencies and digital assets actually need to be purchased in order to run decentralized applications in some form or another. So just an interesting find I wanted to show you guys. Next up, so the block at the block _ just talking about Libra again, Facebook's coin. And it says Libra crypto may never launch due to regulatory scrutiny. Warns, again, and this is what they're saying. I'm calling BS, guys. I'll tell you one thing, and I've heard this around as well. Facebook's Libra. Facebook is a global company. If the US and a few other big countries say no, that's fine. Facebook's still going to be fine. The Libra Association is based out of Switzerland, I believe, and they're still going to go around with the unbanked or other countries that don't have access to bank accounts and want to transfer value in these emerging markets. It's not going to stop Facebook. They don't care. There's still money to be made. And again, even Easy at ERST69 on Twitter says, this was only a trigger. This is only to trigger the regulation process. And that's an interesting perspective, and I tend to agree. All right. And again, guys, I'm sure you saw the recent video and tweets by the Bearable Bull. Great guy. And again, he was just talking about, 50,000 transactions, TPS, on the website update. Again, this has been well known, but this is referring to, the on-chain and off-chain transactions. So we know off-chain it can scale up to 50K TPS. Typically on chain, it's only 1500. But again, I'm waiting for them to implement Cobalt, and I'm very interested to see what's going to happen there. And I've covered this before, but just a quick synopsis of the difference between on-chain transactions and off-chain transactions on the blockchain. So when we're thinking on-chain, we're thinking, 1,500 transactions per second TPS for XRP. So they're usually considered to be valid when a blockchain reflects the transactions on a distributed public ledger, so the ledger's public, and this includes authentication, validation of a transaction by a defined number of participants and validators, and the different details of a transaction are recorded on the block and then distributed to the entire blockchain, making the transaction irreversible since it cannot be altered. So on-chain transactions take longer because of the different steps that have to happen before a transaction is deemed to be successful. On top of that, the potentially high cost of a transaction can prove off-putting to some of the members in the network. All right, now this throughput capacity of over 50K transactions per second is referring to the off-chain, which is still great, and it's going to market great to the corporates and industries that are looking to use Ripple's technology. So these transactions are dealing with values outside the blockchain, can be carried out by using different numbers of methods. So again, two parties can have a transfer agreement. A third party might exist who guarantees that the transaction is completed and correct. And then again, the third party is some sort of a guarantor in the transaction. So today, payments processors such as like PayPal work along these lines as that third party participant. So off-chain transactions use a code-based system mechanism. The participant purchases redeemable code to exchange with the cryptocurrency assets, and then they gives the code to a third party who redeems them. So, all in all, two parties can exchange even their private keys involving a secure amount of crypto assets, and it will never leave the wallet or address, but the currency receives a new owner off the blockchain. So off-chain transactions are executed instantly, so they're way faster as compared to the on-chain ones that can lag for a long time depending on the number of transactions waiting to happen on that same network, as well as the network load and the transactions on the queue not yet confirmed. So a lot to come about. I'm excited to see about this Cobalt implementation as well. So thank you, The Bearable Bull. Definite follow on Twitter and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Always fun and very informative. Now, this is just a fun thing that I wanted to share. XRP Neo at XRP_Anderson. So listen to someone talking about how much money they needed for the rest of their life. I think this is the wrong thinking. And I agree. Again, this is that small mindset about thinking to survive instead of, just living in abundance and, always, instead of just contracting and shrinking in, you want to expand, you want to grow, you want to be confident. All right. No, there's no successful person in the world that, lives every day being negative. You have to believe you can do it. Sometimes the smart people don't succeed in life. You have to be dumb enough to believe you can make your dreams a reality. All right. So instead of thinking small and contracting and shrinking away from, challenges, expand and grow. So use that money that you're going to earn in the future to create more cash flows. If more cash is coming in than coming out, you can never be broke. Calculate your cash flows, not your saved amount. Exactly. I really like that. All right, and let's finish off with this, and I'll do a part 2 later on. So, Cryptomaniac at _crypto_maniac_. For a financial institution to transact $1 million today, it would need to free up and have 3.25 million XRP available. At $1 per XRP, that same institution would only need 1 million XRP versus that 3.25 million. If XRP was valued at $10, they would only need 100K XRP. At $100 XRP, they would only need 10,000 XRP. And, just for fun, if XRP was valued at least $1,000 per XRP, they would only need 1,000 XRP for a $1 million transaction, if you only knew. So very interesting, complete speculation. I mean, a lot of people agree, 100 billion circulating supply for not only a remittance market, but when R3 is engaged, still might not be enough. I know a lot of people are impatient, but you know what? That just means you weren't around when Ripple's XRP was valued fractions of a penny. And we were all scared invested in it. We were looking at it, not thinking it's going to go up. And now, it skyrocketed to well over $3, almost $4. And then it came back to retrace after thousands of percent growth. Now people are complaining, saying it's a stable coin because it's sat at 30 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents for a long time, a year and a half. Just sell, because you're the type that is not going to be successful in investing if you're complaining and, writing negativity in every video. Just sell. You're not mature enough for this space. This is for people that actually want to diversify and hold a portion of their wealth to grow in the future versus, holding it in the US dollar or other backed fiat. That's not even backed by anything. It's no longer backed by gold. We're, facing inflation day in and day out, whether you use an IRA, a 401k, and you're invested in mutual funds. The stock market is a bubble right now. It is a complete, fugazi. It's fairy dust, as, in the Wolf of Wall Street, they say that. But guys, put it into something and diversify your wealth, whether that's real estate, diversify in stocks, maybe precious metals. But for me, guys, I am more so all in on digital assets. I see the future. I'm connecting the dots day in and day out, and the XRP community is truly one of a kind. And to me, we're not going to make a dent as retail investors. There's really not that many people invested into XRP. I mean, maybe some more so in Bitcoin, but I think everyone got destroyed with Bitcoin. And they don't have that perspective. They just see it as some pyramid scheme, and they put money and lost money and sold. So this is a legitimate asset. I know that I only have 13,000 subscribers. I'm going to keep covering this news, guys. When XRP explodes, everybody in the XRP community is probably going to have 100,000 subscribers, and it's going to be too late. We are spreading this information day in and day out. So I appreciate everybody that likes this video. It really helps the video get seen more. I appreciate everyone that's commenting, whether it's good or bad. I appreciate the insight. That's also going to help the video be seen. And then anyone that shares this video around, shares it on Facebook or Twitter, just to really spread awareness for the everyday people with XRP. Again, we're not really going to make a dent in this. We are waiting for utility to kick in. And it is simply a matter of time. Every day that passes leads me to becoming more bullish. I don't care how long it takes. So with that, guys, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.